before that, the Syrian Foreign Minister, Walid Muallem, has just spoken to Al Jazeera. He spoke to our diplomatic editor, James Bays, who joins us from New York now. James, tell us about it.
I think it's worth giving you the circumstances of this interview, Kamal, first. I was actually sitting down doing another interview with the Prime Minister of Kosovo and then spotted the Syrian Foreign Minister out of the corner of my eye. So apologies to chaos to the Prime Minister of Kosovo. We chased after him along the river by the UN, and this is what he had to say. Foreign Minister, are you confident of the prospects of peace right now?
Well, it's premature to speak about it. As long as fighting going on the ground.
Do you think there could be a deal that will bring everyone to Geneva?
I hope so. I hope so.
And what about the chemical weapons resolution?
Well, we welcome it. We welcome it because we are determined to go forward in the respect of destroying the chemical weapon.
And in terms of Geneva, are you prepared to concede on the role of President Assad, that he might step down?
Nobody can speak about the role of President Assad because it is mentioned in the Constitution. So we will not violate our Constitution. His role is for the Syrian people is very important and crucial.
Excellent work on that, James. Really well done. Let's talk about where it goes, though. If he's confident, Walid Muallem's confident about it, there's a process, though, however, and we're actually looking to The Hague, first of all, rather than New York for this resolution.
Yeah, there are two different things going on here that I was talking to him about. Let's start, yes, with that chemical weapons and that deal. I think that's almost a done deal because you had the Security Council meeting here late on Thursday. The permanent 5 members of the Security Council have already agreed on the draft. The rest of the Security Council will shown that draft so they should take it back to their capitals. We have a meeting now in The Hague, but everything we're being told is that the Security Council have been in touch with the Executive Committee of the Organisation for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. They're the ones who have to actually make the plan to go into Syria, send their inspectors and do the work, and then if they've come up with that mechanism, that plan, it comes back here to New York later on in a matter of a few hours, and we should, barring a last-minute hitch, then get a Security Council resolution. That bit, I think, looks like it's all going to happen. The other bit, the more complicated bit, which they're now trying to work on, is the really big deal. It's trying to get both sides in the conflict around the table at Geneva. The Syrian government has said for some considerable time that it's prepared to go to Geneva. The opposition has said, well, it likes the idea of talks, maybe, but not, the time is not right now, and it has various preconditions. They're not calling them preconditions. One of those preconditions, though, is that they want Assad to stand down. Well, you heard the words just there of the Syrian Foreign Minister. When I asked him about the prospect of Assad standing down, he said it was in the Constitution, we're not going to violate our Constitution, and it's up to the Syrian people, he said. So it doesn't sound like they're prepared to make that concession, which would be the key concession, I think, to get any success at talks, and possibly the key concession for even talks to take place.
All these meetings and talks, James, it's all very much centred around the big players, the United Nations Security Council, the P5, all these sorts of groups. Syria's neighbours surely have got to come into this at some point and play some sort of role.
Syria's neighbours, obviously, their main focus of attention, I think, has been on the way that it is destabilising their countries. That is the refugees, now more than 2 million refugees in those neighbouring countries, but all sorts of other effects that it's having on the population. Look at somewhere like Lebanon, where we've seen the levels of violence, particularly in the north, rising. They are deeply concerned, and here, when we've had the world leaders here in New York speaking about it, all the neighbours have expressed their concern. They've done that publicly, but they've also been at quite a few meetings with the Americans, with the other Western powers, with the other members, permanent members of the Security Council, expressing those concerns, I think, in even more frank terms.